Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com, and I am talking to Matt Doyle. I was cage side this past weekend, an all-star weekend, Art of War Cage Fighting 23, and Matt Doyle got his second victory. He was super impressive. Matt, before we talk about what happened in the fight and everything, how you feeling? It's got to be a great feeling to go to 2-0 earlier in your career. You were quite impressive.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Bob, for having me. Really appreciate being out here. Feeling great, other than the hand, but other than that, vibes are high. Phillies win. Feeling good.
Well, listen, that's the first time I got to see a fight, and early on in the fight, I mean, you were super impressive in the stand-up, and then you decided, let me take him down, and I was like, man, let him up, Matt, because you were so good in your stand-up, and then you were taking him down. Tell me a little bit, is that one of the reasons? Did you hurt your hand early in that fight? Is that why you decided to try to go to the ground a little bit? What happened? You were dominant. Listen, you were in dominant position the entire time, and I want to talk about a couple other things in that fight, but did you realize when you hurt your hand in that fight?
Sure. 2 seconds in. He threw that low kick. I came back with the 1-1-2, and I've watched your broadcast. You guys were great, by the way. And one of the things that you guys had brought up that I didn't even know, that this was his first competition of any kind. And you guys had said, I wonder how he's going to react to getting punched in the face. So I threw that jab right down Broadway. It turned him a little bit, and the overhand came and caught him right on the side of the head and busted it first thing in the fight. So I was dealing with that. The plan was to work my tie clinch heavily. I've got a really strong tie clinch. Wanted to work that a lot, and I ended up there. I certainly would have liked to stand and bang a little bit more, but I was pretty compromised in the right hand.
Well, you overwhelmed them with I think with everything, with your strength and your technique. Now, the one thing I wanted to ask about the fight was, at one point, it looked like you were looking for, I don't know if it was, talk me through this, because it looked like it was either a standing guillotine. I've also seen Kyle Dawkins do I've seen some standing Darce chokes. What were you looking for there? We didn't have a great angle on it, and I couldn't tell if it was a guillotine or it was some variation. What were you looking for there? Because I thought it was close to a finish. He got out. But, man, you were just so powerful lifting him up off the ground there.
It definitely was. It was that standing guillotine. And what I was working to do was I had it pulled all the way through. Even with the hand, I was having trouble pulling the guillotine through for the rest of the fight. I'd gone through it several more times. But that was all the way through. I worked into the cage to get his butt to the cage to, get the leverage that I needed, kind of sandwich him against the fence. But he was pretty crafty in his escape, and he actually, if you watch it back, he uses his foot to push off the fence, create that distance, and he was jumping, he was squirmy, and did everything he had to get out of it. And not many people get out of my guillotines when they get all the way in there, so credit to him for that.
Well, listen, Jonathan Webb, former UFC fighter, has a beautiful facility over in Washington Township, Webb MMA and Fitness. And I'm really partial to some of the coaches they have there. Jonathan's doing a great job. Talk to me a little bit about the team, because you guys had a bunch of guys on the card. And to me, his team is just growing every day. I love it. I'm a fan of, I cover a lot of regional MMA, and I'm just glad to see it. Talk to me a little bit about the team and the numbers and some of your teammates over there, because it's a beautiful thing he's got going on over there.
Yeah. So I'm coming from a much smaller gym out in Colorado. Not many, high profile, not many MMA guys, and it was a very traditional school. That's where that strong tie clinch and that strong jiu-jitsu game comes from. And I brought that over to Jonathan, and he took those skills that I have, and he turned me into a cage fighter, man. And it's just great. The rounds that I have, the rounds that I get every day are just out of this world competitive. And you've got the guys like Connor Dixon, Daishi Goto, Kevin Dantzler, and it's just the jiu-jitsu knowledge in that school is just, it's insane. And then for every guy that you've heard of, every guy that you've seen on the Fury cards and whatnot, there's 10 more just certified killers in the gym. And it's just, I'm really lucky to have found the school and wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, that's great. Listen, I know you have aspirations. It's one fight at a time. You're 2-0 now. How long is your healing process? How long do you think you're going to be out before you're even able to really train full time again?
Yeah, so it was a fully displaced fracture. It was pretty nasty. I don't know if you saw the X-ray. I'll have to send you that on Instagram if you haven't seen it. But I have a great physician, Dr. Monahan. Got my surgery on Wednesday. Shout out to the team over at Premier Orthopedic Associates. They got me right in, got me fixed up, and I got a screw placed in the bone as opposed to pins. And what that means is that through the bone's healing process, I'll be able to keep the hand moving, keep rehabbing the muscles, not have to deal with so much atrophy. So hoping it's a real quick turnaround. I'm hoping 6 weeks I'm back to full contact and all that. I'm getting married in May. But I did see that Fury just announced that there's a card at some point in May. So I'll tell you what, man, if I'm good to go, and that's maybe a week or so before the wedding, and I can get the permission from the fiance, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it, man.
You don't mind she might not mind having you a few bruises in the wedding pictures, huh? That won't be a big.
Yeah. We'll see. I know she's got a great makeup gal on hand, so I might have to hop in the chair with her in the bridal party.
That's awesome, man. It really is. So tell me a little bit about like some of the guys over there that I go back a ways with. Alan Otto, I know you told me he's your boxing coach. And one of my favorite guys who's underrated is Phil Maldonado, who's over there. Do you get to work with those guys much? I know because the team is so big. You get one-on-one coverage over there with those guys? I
do, yeah. Especially Phil. I work a lot. He teaches the evening Muay Thai classes over at Webb, and when I can get in there, I'm definitely in there. So it's usually MMA during the day, and that's kind of what I make a point that I have to make those classes. But whenever I can get into Phil or Alan's class at the end of the evening, I'm certainly going to be there because they've got knowledge pouring out of their ears. So I definitely want to be there every time I can.
Hey, listen, just because your hands hurt, that doesn't mean you can't get in there and do cardio, man. I'm sure right now, listen, earlier in your career, when you get in there with somebody who, puts more of a test, a lot of times it comes down to cardio. So it sucks working cardio, but I'm sure that them guys want you in the gym working on that and, still going over the mental part of the game, man. That's so important.
Yeah. So one of the strongest, aspects that I have as a martial artist is that, I'm a sponge for knowledge. And really tend to pick things up from watching others, compete and train, and I can take that stuff and throw it right into my game. So I'll be over at Webb tonight. We have our competition grappling practice at 7:30 on Fridays, and I'm going to get to go over there and see the highest level guys we got. We have a lot of people come in from other schools. Christian Hannigan, for example, congratulations to him for his win this past weekend. Pat Sabatini is almost always there. He's got a big fight coming up next weekend. So I'm going to go in there and, I'm a gym junkie, whether I can be in there full contact or not.
Hey, listen, I think before you started training there, I was over there and Sean Brady was in there. Him and Jonathan are longtime friends and teammates. So like you said, there is just a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of talent going in there. Matt Doyle, once again, 2-0. As soon as he heals up, he wants to get back in there. Matt, before we go, give some shout outs. Give your lovely fiance a shout out. Give me her name and give out some shout outs before we go, my man.
Yeah. So fiance is Nikki, beautiful fiance. She's out walking our beautiful dog Shiloh right now. We got a beautiful wedding set up for Stone Harbor, May 20th. I just can't wait for that. Shout out to my team at Webb Fitness and MMA, everybody under that Henzo Gracie Philly umbrella. Get me ready for the fight this weekend. And I do got a call out for you, Bob. You take call outs?
Sure.
Yeah. You know what? I want to grapple Bo Nickel. Is what I want. I want, if I'm ready for this Fury match in May, I saw that he had expressed interest in being there. I'm sure Fury's going to be busy, have a busy year after such a huge, successful year they had last year. I want a piece of Bo Nickel. I'm a Penn State guy. He's a Penn State legend, one of the most decorated wrestlers in school history, and I think I got the jiu-jitsu to get that match done.
Hey, he was in the house. I don't know if you got to see him or talk to him. He was in the house.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was in the house. He's a teammate of John Garbarino, Johnny Garb, and he was actually in the house. It's a shame you didn't get to see him. We could have made the introduction and we could have set it up. But man, Matt, listen, Matt, I'm glad we got to finally talk. This is our first interview, and thanks for giving me some time. Hopefully, in the future, we'll keep. Listen, this is what I tell young guys is. I appreciate letting me tell your story. This is just, early on in the book. This is the chapter 1, chapter 2. And as your career progresses, we love, this is the grassroots of Miami News. We're the grassroots. We love doing the regional guys, the amateur guys. I mean, when I first started, I was covering Paul Felder as an amateur, Sean Brady, Jonathan Webb, all the guys that are in the UFC now. And to see that progression of guys, and I know that you have those same aspirations. And hopefully this is just the beginning of, the book for you. And I look forward to talking to you again in the future, Matt. Heal up, and can't wait to hear some more fight news about you, and stay in touch, my man.
Appreciate it, Bob. This means a whole lot to us local fighters, especially when we're sidelined. It's tough to find motivation sometimes. So you giving us the time of day, man, it keeps the fire burning. Appreciate it, man.
You got it. Anytime, Matt. Talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Hope so.